All right, so folks, in here, please create two classes. One is going to be your pin class, and the other one is going to be what we're going to call a pin runner.
What do we call the project?
You can call it whatever you want.
Ooh,
I call it pin class 2. So I'm going to open up my pin class here and delete everything inside here.
Don't do this.
And inside here, I'm going to be taking some notes about some key vocabulary, and I'm going to, so you might want to keep up with that. Let me see if I can make this text larger. Is that better for you all? You should have two different classes, a runner class and just a pin class. So, what's that? Yep. Yes. But right now we're just going to focus on the pin class. So, we are going to develop a constructor. What's up? Just don't worry about it. You can, yeah. So we're going to make a constructor for this class, but first I'm going to create what I call instance variables. And we're going to have these variables be places where we can store information that other methods in here can access. So we're going to start by declaring these as private instance variables because we don't want other locations to be able to use or update these variables without accessing this class first. So I'm going to have, let's see, what were some of the attributes? I'm going to say I've got a private string called pin color. And I have a private variable of type string for the, let's say, pin name. I've got a string for the location. And then if I want to do latitude and longitude, what would I change there? Double. So I'm going to have a private double for a pin lat, and private double pin long. Okay, so now I've declared my instance variables, and there's more I could put in here. Like, I could do the activity, or I could do, what other things did we say? The comments or something like that. So now that I have these instance variables, I'm going to create a constructor for this class. Now there's two different types of constructors I could make. One is a no parameter constructor. Guess how many parameters that one has? None. And this is like one of those best practices because it's weird for me to like say I've got a pin and I'm not going to tell you any information about it. There might be a chance that I want to do that. So a best practice is to create a no parameter constructor and a parameterized constructor. So let's create our no argument or no parameter constructor by going public pin. And then inside here, notice how I don't have any parameters. I am going to say that my variables, my pin color, is just going to be updated to blank string. And same thing with the pin name. Let's see if I can move down here a little bit. And pin location. And pin lat equals 0.0 because it has to be a double. And pin long has to equal 0.0. So far, nothing too exciting. Do you need more time to type that in? It's important that your name of your constructor matches exactly the name of the class. That's just how it works. So now I'm going to go ahead and make a parameterized constructor. So I'm going to have public pin again, except now I'm going to add parameters inside here. So I'm going to have, let's give it, I guess, all 5 parameters. So how do I give it parameters? What information do I have to put inside there? Yeah, a type of parameter. So I might give it a string and then a name. So I'm going to call it call, I guess. For the color, then another string, let's call name. Another string called loc. And then string, double, lat, and double, I'm going to do LON. You notice that if you type in LONG, long, it's going to turn red. There's actually another data type that we haven't learned about yet called a long, and so that's why it's like, wait a second, a long is something else. What are you talking about? So I just had to call it LON. So now that I'm giving it parameters, I can store that in those instance variables. So I'm just going to actually copy and paste what I had here. And now pin color is going to be just call. Pin name is going to be name. Pin location, I want to store the loc there. And pin lat is going to be lat and long. So all I'm doing is I'm taking these parameters right here, putting them inside my instance variables. So now that's stored in memory someplace. So now when I create a new thing of type pin and I give it this information, that's going to get stored into memory. So now when I click on that pin that I create, which I haven't created anything yet, it will be of a certain color. When it pops up, it'll have a name. There will be a latitude and longitude there, all that jazz. So now that we've taken care of all of our attributes, we're going to write some methods. So there's 2 main types of methods that we're going to talk about today. And they're going to be setter methods and getter methods. So my setter methods are also sometimes called mutator or modifier. And like, for example, I made all these pins and then I decided, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. This is going to be exciting. So like when I made this pin, normally, it came up as blue, right? I'm going to delete this parameter of color and make this blue instead. Did you all see what I did? So I just deleted my first parameter of color because they all popped up blue. So that way, instead of creating a pin and getting the color right away, I'm just going to make every pin blue. But I might want to make a pin a different color like I did later. I went back in and I asked everyone for their favorite color. And for that, I'm going to want a setter method. So that's going to set the color of my pin. So I'm going to have public void. It's not going to return anything. It's just going to set the color. Set color. What type of parameter should I give it? Does it need a parameter? It needs a parameter.
Yeah, color.
It needs a color. So I'm going to call that string, and I can call it call again or call to or whatever you want to call it. So I'm giving it a color. And now I want to store that color, this color right here, in pin color. So I'm going to say, hey, update that variable pin color to be what I just put in it for my parameter. So now I just set the color of something, or I could set the color of something, of a pin. We also have something called getter methods. Which are also sometimes called accessor methods. And they go ahead and get the information I want. So I'm going to do public void, not void, void. Let's do get color. And I'm going to call it, does it need a parameter? It doesn't, no. Oh, I made a mistake. So it's going to return the color to us. So what type of information is color? What type of variable? So it's going to return a string. And so I'm going to return the string that I want, which is pin color. So now I've got a setter method and I've got a getter method just for the color. And there are other methods. Not all methods are setter methods or getter methods. They're just a popular one, okay? So with that, let's go ahead and compile this, make sure everything saves properly. And then I'm going to go back into my pin runner class. And I'm going to make a main method in there. I'm going to write this as a comment. Make main method create a new pin, change the color to green, and then print the color to the screen. So that's what I'm going to ask you all to do in your pin runner class. Make the main method, create a new pin, and then change the color of that pin to green, and then print the color to the screen. I can. Yep. Let me just pause this.